Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Grammar clause is coming to town. Grammar clause is coming to town. Grammar clause is coming to Arcoma.
Ho, ho, ho! Welcome to Language Arts. Here is my friend, and on top of the good list, ho, 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 Mr. Spears.
Hey, welcome back to my classroom. It's been a little while since we discussed things. Right now, because we pivoted away from the Chromebooks for a little bit, we are doing a lot more in class, just straight up discussion and participation kind of stuff. This last Monday, we discussed a grammar topic that obviously we can't go into our ed program on the grammar studio in our Chromebooks. So we just discussed it in class. I know some of you missed it and some of you might want a refresher on this because we're combining several ideas on this topic. It is called adjective and adverb phrases. And what it means basically is we're taking prepositional phrases and we're applying them as though they were an adjective or an adverb. So look, we did a lot of refreshers over different parts of speech as we combine them. First of all, we did a refresher over adjectives. And I don't know if you could see this on your screen or not. I don't know if it's big enough. Maybe you can blow it up. Otherwise, maybe by hearing me, you'll remember. Adjectives modify nouns and pronouns. And so what that means, modifies, it adds detail or information, additional information. Maybe it's not necessary to the sentence, but it does help us understand what we're talking about better. So like ugly sweater, okay, a sweater is a thing, that's a noun. Wouldn't be a day without it. Here we go, let's keep going. So ugly sweater, sweater is a noun, it's a thing. So if it's modifying a noun, ugly is an adjective. That's how adjectives function, or pronouns. It is ugly. Ugly is describing it. It is a pronoun. It's a substitute word for sweater in this case. We're not saying sweater, we're saying it. But since it's a pronoun, ugly modifies it. Ugly is an adjective. Now, adverbs, we remember, do three things. And adverbs are a little bit harder for most people than adjectives. They don't have to be when it clicks. I think you'll be fine with it. But it kind of messes with people's head when you say the word adverb. Adverbs are a modifier also, but they modify a different part of speech or parts of speech. They modify verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. If it's a verb, like words like quickly could tell us how the action happened in the sentence. Verbs are that we're going to modify are action verbs. They show activity in the sentence. So we could say he ran quickly. Quickly is telling us how the action of running occurred, so that is an adverb. Secondly, they modify adjectives. So adjectives, we just talked about what adjectives are. So let's take our previous example, ugly sweater. Ugly was the adjective for the noun sweater. Now I'm going to say very ugly sweater. Very is not modifying sweater. It's not a very sweater. It's very ugly. So if it modifies an adjective, then it is an adverb. It tells us to what degree or how much it was ugly. Adds a little more detail. Then finally, adverbs modify other adverbs. Let's take our other sentence, ran quickly. We're going to find out not only how they ran, but to what degree they quickly ran. Quickly could be, a pretty good pace. Quickly could be real fast. So what's the difference? Ran very quickly. Ran very quickly. So very is not very ran, it is very quickly. So it's modifying quickly. Quickly modifies ran. So if it modifies a verb, quickly is an adverb. And so then if very modifies quickly, which is an adverb, it makes very has to be an adverb. You might have to listen to that part again. Sorry, it's a lot of words, but I think it'll begin to process how adverbs modify other adverbs. So those are the two parts of speech that we are combining with the idea of prepositions today. So if you'll remember prepositions, some of you might remember our little squirrel drawings on previous on previous work on this. I think we even have a YouTube video just for prepositions. So if you want further detail, find prepositions on our YouTube channel, watch it, get a better refresher. But for right now, just remember it's words like of, for, to, under, over, etc. What we said, it was anything that a squirrel could do to a log, are most of those words. Location, direction of action kind of words that associate things with other things spatially quite often. Although there are words like of and from that kind of are a little bit different in that. But nonetheless, let's keep going. So prepositions, we have prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases are our little preposition sandwich. We have preposition on one side, the object on the other end, everything in between, that becomes a prepositional phrase. What I mean by that is we have an example here, in the big house. In is our preposition. That's that squirrel and log word. The squirrel's in the log. Yeah, that's a preposition. In the big house. So it's in what? If we narrow it down to one word, what is that noun or pronoun that is the object? Well, that would be house. So we have the two sides, in the house, or in house, and the big is part of that preposition sandwich. So this is the whole prepositional phrase. In the big house. That's a prepositional phrase. So, why do prepositional phrases exist? They add detail. What do adjectives and adverbs do? They add detail. They modify other parts of speech to add more information, to give us a better understanding of what's happening. So, prepositional phrases function as adjective phrases or adverb phrases. Instead of one word like quickly for ran, we now have a prepositional phrase that could tell us more about the verb, for example. Let me give you two examples real quick to ponder, and we'll try to finish this up relatively soon because you're probably already going, oh my gosh, and I know you don't want to listen to me about this for hours on end, right? So, the boy from school is sick. Now, let's look for a preposition. Very common preposition is from. So we ask, what is a prepositional phrase? The preposition and the object. From what? From school. So this is our whole prepositional phrase here. Not much to this sandwich, just the two pieces of bread, the preposition and the object. But we have our prepositional phrase. So, how is that functioning? What does that relate to? What is from school? Let's ask that question. Blank, or what, is from school? The boy. So, from school is describing or modifying boy. Now we ask, what part of speech is boy? Boy is the subject of the sentence. It's a noun. It's a person. So, if it modifies a noun, it is an adjective. So, this prepositional phrase is also known as an adjective phrase. Okay? Secondly, our second example, the sill slid on the ice. All right, let's look for prepositional phrases. Prepositions first. Let's look for our prepositions first. And again, we can put the squirrel and log test to this one. If you don't identify it right off, well, the squirrel can go on the log. That is our preposition. So let's look for our prepositional sandwich. The preposition, what is the object? On what? On ice. But we have to have the whole sandwich here, which is on the ice. So now we're going to ask the question, what is on the ice? It's not, we're not talking about the seal being on the ice. Otherwise we'd say like the seal was on the ice. What we're saying right now is that the activity of sliding, that he slid on ice. That's what on ice is referring to, is where the sliding happened. So what that means is, since this is the verb, the activity of the sentence, this prepositional phrase modifying a verb, therefore must be an adverb phrase. So this prepositional phrase is an adverb phrase. This one is an adjective phrase. So why is that important? Because we need to know what prepositional phrases are modifying to know if we're writing them correctly, if they even belong, where it should be at in the sentence so that it relates and makes sense, things like that. And we'll kind of get into how to make sense of sentences and stuff like that later on. I'm going to stop right there, though. So again, if you want to look up prepositional phrases on another video later on, you might want to. I can't remember if that was the squirrel, the murder squirrel, or if that was just the regular squirrel in that video. If you know about the murder squirrel, then you know. But anyway, if you don't worry about it. Hope this makes sense. You might have to watch parts of it again. Be sure to holler at me. Shoot me an email if you have questions. I'll do whatever I can to help you. Like I said, I know some of you probably might want to go over this again to understand it. Just like with adverbs, we studied that a long time ago. We studied prepositions a long time ago, but now they're together. And so later on, this might be something you want to come back to also. I know some of you were absent Monday, kind of a weird start back after Thanksgiving. I also know, like Double H, we know that you weren't here, and do hope you get better soon, bud. And we're thinking of you. Hope to catch all of you again soon. Holler if you have questions. Goodbye.
Ho, ho, ho. I'm making a list. Who's naughty or nice in English language arts class? Ho, 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 ho. You better be good for Mr. Spears, for goodness sake. Ho, ho, ho. I will give you coal, so help me.